Do you know what is the #1 secret to taking stunning photos with your digital camera? The kind of photos you've been dreaming to take since you bought your expensive camera? It's using light correctly and with purpose. You might be thinking that all photographers already know that light is the basis of photography. And you'd be right. But it's also true that just a few subtle but powerful secrets for using light will improve your photography like nothing else. My name is Mark Hemmings, and I'm an internationally recognized photographer and photography instructor. And in this video, I'll share with you 4 ways to use light in your photos that will guarantee your photos will stand out dramatically. I'll share all of my considerations for composing my example shots and exactly which camera settings I use to get them. Once you start using these techniques for your own photos, they will never be the same again. Now, one tip that's going to radically enhance your portrait photography is to make use of setting sun, especially when you have rays of light shining on a wall, on a doorway, on a staircase. Position your friend or your model in the light so that his or her face is illuminated by that wonderful soft light. Now keep in mind, you're probably going to have to underexpose the picture, make it a bit darker. The reason is the camera sees so much shadow around the space that will compensate by making the picture brighter. That means that your friend's face is going to be way too bright. So to do that, you're going to use exposure compensation and go down to the minus side to make the picture a bit darker. Ultimately, exposure of the face, skin tone, has to be your priority. Don't worry about the exposure of anything else. Also, don't forget, stay low. It's always good to photograph your models when you are in a low position and they are slightly higher than the lens. This really empowers the subject and really helps to make an excellent portrait that's full of drama. Now, as for the camera mode, I usually like to use aperture priority for portraits, especially outdoor portraits. And I often use the lowest f-stop number possible. For this lens, it's an f2.8. However, because I don't really care so much about background blur, because there's nothing behind my model except a beautiful wooden door, it doesn't matter. I could use f2.8 or I could use f8. Usually you're going to choose your aperture based on how much light you have and are you using a tripod or not. I was hand holding, therefore I like to use a low aperture f-stop number in order to avoid camera shake. I hope those tips helped to give you excellent portraiture in the evening when the sun is low and extremely beautiful. Now, a really interesting way to add dimensionality and depth to your portraits is to incorporate shadows. Now, you can get shadows very easily just by photographing when the light is low and very direct on your subject. Now, for example, I have my friend here who's going to model for us. I'm going to take a picture and show you how I use shadow to really create an extra dimension to my portraits. Okay, let's begin. Okay, look up the street a bit and back down a little bit more toward me. Bit more. Okay, so check out this portrait. Do you see how the extra dimension of the shadow really adds to the picture? Now, I asked the model to slightly rotate her face so I get a different shadow profile and I could choose afterward which one I like best. Also for camera settings, I like to have a long zoom, for example, 70 to 200, set at the 200mm setting, because a long lens for portraits is really good for the face. Also for aperture, because it's a little bit low, I used an f-stop of f2.8. However, you may choose an f4, that would be fine. Also, I love aperture priority for portraiture. Now, I love using lens hoods. They're so effective at protecting your lens if you accidentally drop it, and also for lens flares, it will give you a good clean image. Have you ever taken a photo inside a city of a famous landmark or a beautiful historic building, but the picture just didn't turn out the way you wanted to? Well, that's quite normal. A lot of my students have that problem. However, there is a solution. Now, currently we're at around noon. The light is harsh, and it's coming from behind this church behind me. I want to photograph the church because it's quite beautiful. I'm going to take a test picture and let's see what happens. Okay, now as you can see, we have a kind of an undramatic picture. There's a lot of blue haze in the picture. The shadows are very deep, and specifically, the church is not illuminated. Now, one of the big problems is backlighting. The light is coming from behind the church. That means that the church facade is sort of in a dark shade and has a bluish tone, which really doesn't look good. So, how do we fix that? Well, let's come back tonight and see what happens. Okay, we're now at dusk. The sun has set and the colors of the lights are everywhere. It's really great. Now keep in mind, we only have a half an hour window where we can actually get a shot where the sky brightness is equivalent to the brightness of the electric lights in the city, or for example, on this church. Let's take a shot and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so as you can see, we have a really good balance between the sky and the lights on the church and the surrounding buildings. This is the perfect time to photograph. Now the nice thing is we absolutely lost all those deep shadows that we had in the former picture. Also, we don't have that sort of ugly blue haze, and the church is looking really good and it's not in the shadow. This is the advantage of waiting for different lighting. Okay, I'm here in the same spot, this time early morning, and I'm going to take advantage of side lighting. Let me take a test shot to show you. Okay, so when the light is coming from the side, we have a really nice effect. What happens is the sun sort of rakes along the surface of whatever you're photographing, allowing a three-dimensionality, sort of a texture effect, where the side light, the nice, soft, wonderful illumination from the sun, sort of wraps around the texture of the building. It's really good for photography. When photographing landmarks like this church, side lighting will be better than backlighting. When you have backlighting, you have a situation where you don't have any real illumination of the main subject, and you sort of have that bluish haze that doesn't look good. Now, just by the way that this church is oriented, I can't get front lighting. However, front lighting is pretty good. It works well. Also, cloudy days produce a soft effect, which will allow you to get a nice, soft image. So don't forget, time of day is so important in photography. Each part of the day has a different value for your incredible photographs. Now I'd like to talk to you about silhouettes. Silhouettes are amazingly dramatic, where you have a bright background, but your subject or your model is all black. All you see is the shape of the person. This is really effective for drama. So let me show you how to do it. First, I'd like you to switch to aperture priority. Also, I'd like you to go to your minus side of exposure compensation. This is very important because you want a very dark subject. Okay, so I have -2 for exposure compensation and I'm ready to take the picture. Now, don't forget, you need to have a side profile. So make sure that your model or your subject is looking at a 90-degree angle to you so you get that side profile of the face. Also, you may want to ask the model to just sort of move their arms around a little bit just to have that active dynamic aspect that really adds energy to the picture. Okay, let's take a test shot and see what happens. Okay, go ahead. Okay, hands down now. Just pull your hair back so it's really, it's sort of flying up right now a little bit. So pull it back into like a ponytail. Yeah. Okay, arms down. Okay, so what do you think? We have a really nice, deep, rich silhouette here. Now, keep in mind, to get a good silhouette, you should have a brighter background than the foreground. For example, I'm in a dark, shady area right now, but the background behind the model is very bright. This is a perfect situation for getting excellent silhouette portraits. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you got a lot of value out of it. Now, there's so much more I'd like to tell you about digital photography. And while I didn't hold anything back, there's only so much I could share with you in a short video like this. And that's why I've recorded an entire video course about taking incredible photos with your digital camera. and finally taking your camera off of the auto mode. So if you'd like to find out more about my digital photography course, you'll find more information right under this video. So take a look at my full digital photography course, and I hope to see you there.